Let's put the panel on the spot now by asking them the questions which are at the top of the agenda for the viewers of silicon.com. We polled our subscribers and these are the issues that are at the forefront of their minds.
Well, our first question is from Bob Douglas, Research Manager of Corporate Systems at the Royal Bank of Scotland. Is e-commerce such a dramatic or even beneficial shift to business? Steve?
The short answer is yes. Dramatic for two reasons. One is that it creates new competitors, small companies that can come in and transform a global market, and also that companies that fail to understand the relevance of e-commerce can simply find themselves being driven out of business.
But do people just come in to form a global market, or is that just marketing speak? Do they actually come in? Does it actually work in practice?
Oh, there are companies like Amazon who have transformed, small companies transformed the global business of buying and selling books. From a beneficial point of view, there are also many recorded companies that have used e-commerce to increase not only revenue but profit as well.
OK. Our next question from Simon Lewis, IT Controller, Golden Food Products. Isn't this going to cost too much for the small business? Neil?
Not at all, Clive. In fact, it represents a major opportunity for small businesses. Because of the nature of EDI, electronic commerce to date, it tends to have been point-to-point, so only the large suppliers have serviced the large buying organisations. E-commerce across the web opens up the possibility of much more open supply chains.
Sounds like an awful lot of money up front, though, doesn't it, Neil?
Not necessarily. Interestingly, if you look at the figures coming out of the US at the moment, where adoption's that little bit further ahead, and the latest stats from Computer Intelligence that I saw show that the larger small to medium enterprises, the SMEs, are actually adopting faster than the big companies. Partly because the initial investment is relatively low, PC, internet connectivity and so on, but also because they don't have the hurdle of integrating together large legacy systems, or I guess the cultural inertia of a bigger organisation to deal with.
They're becoming more computerised anyway, aren't they?
That's right.
OK. Our next question, Barclay Dutzner, consultant at the Vision Group at BT. What will the biggest e-commerce sectors be by the year 2000? More for you, Heather.
Right. Let me say that's not the question I would ask. I'd ask what kind of processes people are going to be using across different sectors. And what's interesting about that is...
What do you mean by processes, Heather?
What kind of ways in which people are going to be interacting with their suppliers, whether they're going to be using web-based user interfaces or whether they're going to be using application integration. And year 2000's not too far away, and I think what people are going to be doing in the year 2000 is pretty much what they're doing now, except more so, which is using the web to offer applications as services to their customers and to their suppliers. The application integration, it's a lot harder. It's going to take a lot longer to come downstream.
It's one of today's biggest problems, isn't it, integration? So I suppose it's not going to go away with the year 2000 or the new EDI technologies, is it?
No, it's really tough.
OK. Andrew Smith, analyst with Data Monitor. What will the likely take-up of new payment methods such as smart cards and digital cash be? Chris?
I think the benefits for the end consumer, the end user of a smart card are overwhelming. It's a simple, easy and secure way to actually carry around not just money, but things like your digital identity.
Do we have those yet? I mean, that's still quite new and not really over in Europe yet, is it?
No, there are smart card technologies exist today, and digital certificate technologies, i.e. a way of electronically identifying yourself, also exist today. The challenge is the deployment of those in practice. And I think the take-up of the technology will be gated by some of the physical practicalities of issuing smart cards, either from the government as a source of identity or from credit card issuers, for example.
Yes, very controversial thing, isn't it? Anything to do with recording electronic information. Is that going to be a major issue?
I think there will be a period where consumer confidence grows in the use of smart cards and electronic internet-based technologies in general. I think we're a little way from the point yet, but we will reach the point where people are just as comfortable with their electronic certificate as they are with their passport today.
OK, well, our next question comes from Graham Deere, the UK Operations Manager with AOL UK. E-commerce suffers from a very bad image among the general public, largely because of hacker scare stories. How will the potential benefits be publicised to the man in the street? That's a question to all of you. How about you, Steve? How about tackling that one?
I was thinking about this the other day. I read an article in the Times just yesterday which said, covered the fact that the internet is not as insecure as people think it is, and it's actually very, very difficult to hack. With the current encryption standards that are in use, it's almost impossible for people to eavesdrop a conversation. The most important thing is protection of information once it's been captured. I think there are a lot of things that can be done to improve the image in this case, and it's encouraging to see stories that are coming out to concentrate on these real issues.
I think if I could add to that, I think security is often viewed as a reason for not doing something, whereas in fact, because there's a perception of insecurity about the internet, rightly or wrongly, it therefore represents a marketing opportunity for all organisations who are dealing in sensitive or valuable information and providing services over the internet.
OK, Chris, that's all we have time for. Thank you.